Well, I'm trying to get there, but my mind and my fingers aren't doing what they need to be doing.
We need more Jeff.
We need more Jeff.
We need
from
more
studio
Jeff.
from Studio A in Texas. It's hour number 2 of the All Things Automotive Car Talk Show in real time. Just ahead, it's all about EVs. Tesla may be the big guy on the block today, but here comes the rest of the industry. You ready? Plus, we got reviews of the Ram 2500 Power Wagon. That's in the new car showroom. We'll take you for a ride. Later this hour, we go inside the mystery garage, plus the stories making automotive news headlines. That and more for the August 1st edition of the In Wheel Time Car Show. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars and King Conrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong. Hey, glad you could join us. Do we have our next guest ready to go? We don't. Okay, well, he's out in California. Okay, so let's see, 11, 10, so it's 9 o'clock there. Those people sleep in until at least noon.
That's what I've always heard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why we would, have somebody that early on.
We tried to push him back as far as we could so he could sleep as late as he could.
But it's a wonderful wine industry, and they have some other industries that are mind-altering as well.
Mind-altering.
They're down in Huntington Beach. And
I didn't have to go. I didn't
boards.
have to go to California to get a mind-altering experience. I grew up in the Houston, Texas area, so there's that.
But it's legal in California, Don.
It is. So we've got an EV show going here. At least we're trying to have one. It's turned into kind of a comedy EV show.
Well,
so far,
okay.
It is okay.
You're enjoying it.
I am. I'm having a great time.
You're not anxious about it.
Especially the guy in Florida, Steve Clun.
No, that was cool. Look at the collection, the eclectic collection of vehicles he's converting. He didn't even talk about the Mini, the early generation Mini that was in front of him.
So, we've been looking for video ideas, and I'm thinking that this would be a Bravo Network reality show. We go down there to Florida and talk to Steve Clun. Can you imagine what a day in the life of Steve Clun and his EV conversion business would be like?
Just the 15 minutes he had a chance to show us around his collection of cars in process, talking about how he uses those EV vehicles he's built to store the solar energy during the day to power his house. I'll tell you, he sees the full range of opportunity within the EV world.
Did you see the show called Rust Valley Restores?
Yes.
I love that show. I love that guy. And he kind of reminds me of the guy at Rust Valley Restores.
Okay.
Yeah, he's one of those kind of guys. He's got a whole myriad of things to convert that's in some sort of a stage of either conversion or deconversion.
Right.
In the case of the
lawnmower.
lawnmower.
Out, right.
Yeah, in the case of the lawnmower that he built, 40 years ago, and he's using the batteries to power parts of his house or something.
His wife was telling me back in it was in 2008, when the economy went bust and everything. Him and his wife, who actually did the Mini conversion, they went on the road. They booked up their camper and they went on the road, and they went around the country just going place to place, talking to people. You want yours done? We'll come to you. And they would go to people and stay there long enough to do the conversion for them, and they would find somebody else and go to another place like nomads. I thought that was so cool that they drove around the country seeing the world and seeing things and doing this kind of work until they could settle back down into Florida.
So they need Randy and Jen's motorhome toy hauler to go around and do that.
No, what they need is and those people that watch Below Deck Mediterranean, like Jeff Zekin. I don't want you to call Bravo. Don't call Bravo directly. You come through us first, because we are going to broker the program that we're going to have with Steve Clun and his wife down there in Florida.
That'd be awesome.
I think so too. By the way, utilities see EV growth as a way to sell more power. Duh. Yeah. Balance electricity demand and meet substantiality goals. But some aspects of the industry's campaign, such as lobbying for tax credits, put it at odds with oil interests. And that's where Houston, Texas comes in, and that's my little story here that we pulled from Automotive News. San Diego Gas and Electric Company even went so far as to help train salespeople on how to convince consumers to buy electric cars, and then paid them as much as $500 per sale. It's all part of a $1.5 billion effort by utilities such as a company called Exelon Corporation and Dominion Energy to promote vehicles that run on electricity. But Some aspects of the industry's campaign, such as lobbying for tax credits or against President Donald Trump's rollback of efficiency standards, put the companies at odds with powerful oil interests. Half of U.S. oil demand is for gasoline. Electric and plug-in hybrid vehicles are a threat to that, even if they currently account for about 1.4 million or 0.7% of the vehicles on U.S. roads. But within 5 years, it's predicted that they will represent as many as 7% of U.S. car sales due to declining battery costs and a growing number of options. That's a promising figure for utilities, which have seen electricity demand flatten as household appliances have become more efficient. When we did focus groups, customers were telling us we have apprehension. We're uneasy, whether it's range anxiety or the upkeep, according to Calvin Butler, who's the CEO of Exelon Utilities. With about half of U.S. oil demand today tied to gasoline, the sector is fighting electric vehicles on all fronts, from State House and state regulatory commissions to Capitol Hill. In Congress, oil and utility interests have squared off over efforts to expand a $7,500 tax credit for electric vehicles. The utility industry's leading trade group, the Edison Electric Institute, has lobbied alongside automakers Tesla and GM to expand the tax credit, while oil interests argue climbing sales and the surge in Tesla's value show subsidies are no longer needed to jumpstart a new industry. Okay, I can see the argument. It's fundamentally unfair, according to Derek Morgan, Senior Vice President of the American Fuel and Petrochemical Manufacturers, unfair to take the monopoly power that the utility has and charge everybody higher rates to build out infrastructure that 2% of today's purchasers use. It's a very big gamble with other people's money, according to Mr. Morgan. So, I can see both sides.
Yeah, well, but both sides are providing power, whether it's through the gas pump or whether it's through the electrical wire coming into your house. So they do compete, but you got to think even the electrical industry is buying natural gas in some instances to power some of their power plants. So there's a symbiotic relationship, and I don't think one advancing hurts the other.
We're in a very shall we say, changing time when it comes to vehicle power. Because we've traditionally, always, since the beginning of time with vehicles other than horses, post-horse, if you will, relied on internal combustion engines, whether it be diesel or jet fuel or gasoline, whatever it is, coal.
Well, and over time, electric-powered vehicles were back in the 1800s and 1900s, early 1900s,
yeah.
As was steam, So all of this has been around to one degree or another, and it's just the advancement of technology
and battery technology,
right?
Because
storing
that
makes a big difference.
Yeah, because storing. I remember early on, my dad worked for a company called Waukesha Motor Company, which built great, big, huge industrial engines. That's why I guess I got the oil in my veins, so to speak. But and back then, to start these ginormous engines, bigger than this room, they actually had to have a small engine, a 4-cylinder engine, that was attached to this great big monster 12-cylinder engine that is 15 feet tall to start that motor. And they had a great big handle on it, so once you got that motor started, pull the big handle to engage it into the flywheel to get the thing turning. And once it got turning, of course, the inertia itself was just enough to keep the thing running forever and ever. But the battery pack that charged all of that stuff actually was this huge, ginormous series of lead-acid batteries.
Yeah.
And to think today, to get that kind of power out of a battery today, it takes one of those today compared to 15 or 20 of them that they had laid out there.
But the environmental concern, to me, is equal. Lead-acid batteries is not an environmentally friendly power source,
no.
Whether it's the lead or the acid or the fumes that expire from it. But same with lithium-ion, to dig lithium, you got to dig a big hole in the ground, and it takes a lot of petroleum in the cranes, in the vehicles that move it around, in the production of it. So, lithium mining is very evasive to the environment as well. So, yes, there is a benefit to the environment on it, but I think there's also some detriment. And I don't think everybody sees both sides of that. You look at some of these lithium mines, and they may be a mile across and 500 or 600 feet deep, and that's a pretty big hole in the ground.
Yeah, all right. So, Mr. Mars, do we have our guest?
Yes, we do.
Okay, well, we have a very short, limited amount of time, and his name is Eric Hutchinson from Hollywood, California. I know it's Huntington Beach, but Hollywood sounds more glamorous. He is with ElectricGT. Eric, hey, good afternoon. Good morning to you. How's it going out there? I'm surprised you're up. It's California, man. I thought all you people slept in till noon.
Well, we'll figure out if we can get your mic hooked up. Hold on a second. We got you. Mike's got you silent for the moment. So
yeah. Stand by. We're now we can hear.
There we go. Now we can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. Go ahead. Yeah. So
thanks. Thank you guys for having us on. Sorry about the delay there. A little confusion with PST and Central Standard Time. But, it's always rough to get these guys in California up early because we're having board meetings. That means surfing.
Board meetings, that's what it is. I totally missed it.
That's board meetings out surfing.
Yeah, that's what he's talking.
Those kind of board meetings.
We had that conversation. He's closer to the beach than I am.
So, Eric, tell me about...
Not to be confused. So thank you guys for having us on. What can we talk about today?
Well, let's talk about what you do out there. I see a car behind you. What is it, and what are you doing to it?
I see a 308 Ferrari behind you.
You do. That's the world's first 100% electrified Ferrari. I bought it from Copart in 2014. It had a fuel fire, a salvage title, and we put a triple electric motor in that, and it about doubled the power. It's only about 220 electric horsepower, but it used to be about 179 foot-pounds of torque, and we put in about 330 foot-pounds of torque, and we put it attached it to a G50 Porsche transaxle, upside down and backwards like factory Porsche races. And then Top Gear Stig drove it around out at Speed Vegas, and I think it like 167 miles an hour, according to the GPS speedometer, on a half-mile straightaway. Never even got to fifth gear.
Whoa!
So it's fast.
Yeah, you think? So, what are you currently doing to it now? I see it on the rack.
So we're repowering it. It was one of the early conversion analog builds. It didn't have a battery management system in it. The batteries were good, but we're going to put brand new lithium batteries because ElectricGT is going to brand its own batteries for sale. And we're putting new batteries. It's going to be a demonstration of our new modular battery technology with the BMS system included. And we're bringing it up to modern standards. It was one of our kind of learning early curves of what we're doing. This is the newest thing we're doing is basically we've made a crate engine or motor block that includes everything that you need inside of, here, I'll show you this. So this is an FJ62, and you can see little dots all over it. And we scan that. We've got a motor block that we've designed that has the charger, the high voltage junction box, a motor, about 25 kilowatt hours of battery pack built into it. And basically it drops in and it mates up with a manual transmission, plug in some auxiliary battery packs, and you have a complete conversion system for a vehicle that fits in the size of an LS footprint. We're getting ready to release that. So
what are you telling me that you guys sell these packs for numb guys like me?
Think of it like this. It's an electric crate swap that kind of changes the ecosystem of a car. Have you guys heard of the term de-icing before? And I'm not talking about defrosting your windshield.
Well, I have not heard it outside of defrosting the windshield, no.
Okay, it's take your exhaust out, take your motor out, take your gas tank out, take your radiator, all the systems related to internal combustion, adios. So once you de-ice the car, clean it up, then we can put our new ecosystem into, I think that our new 413 system fits into something like over 10 million cars made from the 60s to the 90s. And we were planning at releasing it at SEMA this year, but we'll see what happens with SEMA.
So is that what you've got on your website that looks so cool?
Well, we haven't released it, but what we have on the website, you can see we have what shows is the GTE 353 system. And what the difference is on the new system is it's going to be a high voltage, current OEM industry standard, 520 volts. We have a better ecosystem of parts to choose from, like electric compressors for air conditioning, chargers. We have all the supply chain of products that we need to build our ecosystem more readily available by going with kind of a higher voltage system than the 353 on our website.
So what is the weight trade-off for your component system when you subtract all of the gasoline propulsion systems out of a vehicle and add yours to it?
Well, that's a great question.
I try.
The block that we've created, and by putting in a 25 kilowatt hours of the pack, so we've got this LS motor block that we can't share with you now, but we will in a couple months. It's about 550 pounds, so it puts that weight back in the motor bay where it was, and it's kind of our V8 concept, where it was in the vehicle. So the 62 behind me, that'll have that weight back in where it's meant to be. And then the additional packs in the back will replace where the big fuel tank was. In general, the net weight changes is usually within a couple 100 pounds, depending on the build in the vehicle.
That's pretty awesome.
We're very sensitive about distribution of the weight, so you're not reinventing the suspension of the car or redesigning the whole car per se around oddly placed weight, having a light engine up front with all the batteries in the back per se.
So Eric, do you do the conversions, or do you send me the pack and I do the conversion here in Houston?
Yeah, that's a good question. Everything you see behind us is R&D. We don't want to do conversions to one car more than once. Once we have that system, we try to send you the pack. You can bolt it in without being a high voltage expert. All our connectors are OEM standard, touch proof, and safe. And we put out a manual that's 100 and something pages long. And you could de-ice prep the car and install the system.
I'm going to ask a question about the cream colored card in the back. Is that a 912 or is that an early 911?
Oh, that's an early 912, kind of like those two over. Well, there's an early 911. So another one. Now, do you see what's up in our rafters, right?
Look at Jag, huh?
Hang on, there we go.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
We don't want to look at that.
Well, actually, we do, but so with
this.
What
you guys want to see? Look at that. Look what's behind me here.
Is that a Jeep Wagoneer?
Yeah, so it's going to be a demonstration vehicle for some guys. Here, I'll give you we'll go out and look at it.
Thanks.
So that's going to be a demonstration vehicle for a shop that just needs to drive clients around. So you're all the age. You remember Fantasy Island, right?
Sure.
The plane.
Yeah, we're chopping the top off it today. Just our Saturday activity. So we just cleaned out. See, there's nice clean motor bay.
Yes.
And normally we'll scan these but we're doing a small system in that. And then the fab guys are here today and they're chopping the top off to lighten this thing up. And we're going to put a small system in it. It should be pretty fun to drive around.
Hey, would you invite us out to come and play with you on one Saturday?
Yeah, we'll start with a board meeting, though. That's important.
Hey, Huntington Beach is the world's center of surfing.
Well, listen, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we don't have a whole lot of time here, Eric, but we appreciate your time. It's ElectricGT out there in Huntington Beach. What's the website?
ElectricGT.com.
Very good.
We definitely want to have you back on.
Thank you. We look forward to it, and sorry for the late arrival.
And
today,
the
guys.
split window, the electric split window.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm not sorry. We're all excited about that. Keep walking around and we'll look over your shoulder.
Eric, thanks again. We appreciate the time, and we'll talk to you again soon. The In Wheel Time Car Show live streams on Facebook.com, In Wheel Time, on YouTube, and our website, InWheelTime.com. Podcasts available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcast, Google Podcast, and Podcast Addict. Quick break now, and then we look into the new Ram Rebel Diesel. Back in a flash. Hey, this is Houston's most in-depth car show, In Wheel Time, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and In Wheel Time this Saturday. And the hours are 10 a.m. until noon. If you ever want to watch the live broadcast and you happen to be watching or listening to the podcast, then we are live. We record it live, and we bust it up into 4 podcasts so you can listen to them during the week. And we hope to have a very special podcast coming your way soon. We're working on that, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm not going to taint it.
No, but you're going to tease it as opposed to taint it.
I am. So at any rate. All right, time now for this hour's car review, and it's actually a truck, and it's the 2020 Ram. And I said Rebel. It's the 2500. Okay, that's the heavy-duty Ram. Available trim levels are the Tradesman, the Lone Star, the Laramie, the Longhorn, and the Power Wagon. We had the Power Wagon Crew 4x4 $2,500, 3/4 ton.
The most expensive one they sell,
It
probably.
was
Loaded to the gills.
Yeah, it was pretty much loaded to the gills. How many passengers?
5?
6.
Oh, so it's a bench front seat.
Well, you would not know that.
Quasi bench.
Yeah,
it's
because the center seat in the front is actually an armrest that's about that wide.
It's not wide enough for me.
It's about that wide, and it folds down, and so you'd think that, oh, well, that's just the big
Console.
Console. There it is right there.
But you can fold it up out of the way.
You can see it. Well, that's the one with the bucket seats. But the one with the bench looks just like that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, at any rate, all new for 2019. 3 cabs, 2 bed lengths, 2 powertrains available. Same interior as the 1500. It's beautiful. Power wagon graphic on the side. We showed that just a minute ago. On the side of the bed behind the cab. Awesome vertical signature on the side over there. Love the wheels on it. Tough, brawny, mean look. Ram box was an addition to it. Clearance lights on the cab should be standard. If you're going to get a heavy duty, I want those clearance lights. I love the clearance lights. It's just the look. I don't know what they're there for.
It's that 18-wheeler look you like.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you're going to buy something like that, I don't know what that is, but it looks kind of funky. Anyway, best looking dash and instrument cluster in the market today. Comfortable seating. Prefer cloth with the tire tread on the seats. We're looking at the outside now. 12-inch infotainment screen rocks it. Uconnect system is the best that there is. Bigger than a limo inside this thing. What I liked about it, the storage and the USBs are everywhere, including in the floor. What could use improvement? You tell me, because I can't find anything.
It needs you in the seat for an improvement.
Pretty much, yeah. I think I'd really look good in there. Don't say anything, Mars. You just sit over there and drink your Cokes. Engine, 6.7-liter inline Cummins diesel.
It's the beast.
370 horsepower and 850 pound-feet of torque, and you can actually get some sort of goose up in that to break it 1,000. It's 1,000. Yeah. Tow rating up to 20,000 pounds. Haul rating up to 3,600 pounds, depending on cab and all of that stuff. I got 14 miles per gallon, over 414.4 miles. What I liked about, oh, by the way, it has an optional 50-gallon fuel tank.
50 gallons?
50-gallon fuel tank.
That'll get you to Dallas and back.
Yeah, several times.
There goes your EV.
Yeah, forget the EV. Power wagon has all-terrain tires, off-road shocks, tow hooks, skid plates, manual transfer case, 410 axle, and a front winch. And that front winch is built into the bumper, so it doesn't hang out in front of it. It's all behind the bumper, so all you see is the hook. It's really cool. What I liked about it, the testosterone spurting man truck look to it. That's what I liked about it.
Testosterone spurting.
Not sure I'll comment on that. But if I did, I won't. you are
And a
just weird.
pall of silence comes over the studio.
And we're all blushing.
Base trim price is $53,250. As tested, $69,890. Base price, $37,450.
That's not a bad price for that much trim.
It really isn't, but especially the base model price. And by the way, you can get the Power Wagon without the graphics in the Tradesman V8 all-wheel drive. So it comes with all the other stuff that the Power Wagon has on it, except the graphics in a V8. Okay. Competitors: Ford F-250, $37,625. GMC 2500, $40,000. Chevy, that would be the 250 or the 2500, I guess it would be, $38,300. And that's the review of the 2020 Ram 2500
Power Wagon.
Power Wagon. Did you have any other comments that you'd like to make?
Send them to info.
No. I'm not asking. I'm asking you.
No, but it's a workhorse of the industry. When you look at
That's not what I was kind of looking for, but okay, go ahead.
But when you look at people who use a truck to tow and haul for a living, that's one of those vehicles that they're going to take because it's going to give them the power to drive any weight anywhere, but it's also going to give them the luxury inside.
I think I've silenced Mars, but that's just fine with me. Okay.
He's still working about spurting.
Okay. Well, yeah. this week's car calendar and race card coming up next. I think that you'll want to stay tuned.